Live for us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Joe, you attended a town hall last night with Democratic U.S. Representative Hillary Scholten. What are voters saying?
Yeah, Congresswoman Scholten, a Democrat from this region here, she took questions for about an hour last night. Nicole, I think the big takeaway that we got is there are a lot of Democratic voters here who are just not happy. They are disappointed in their own party, in their own elected officials. The sense we got is they still, 4 months in, don't think that their elected representatives are doing enough to push back against the Trump White House, which these Democrats see as radically changing the federal government in a way they don't like. So they're unhappy with what they're doing. These voters also tell us generally they're not happy with the way that Democrats are communicating whatever they are doing. Both of those grievances we heard quite a bit yesterday. It wasn't always directed at Congresswoman Scholten. A lot of these Democrats who showed up said they were happy with their own representative, but upset with the party generally. Take a listen to just a snippet of what we heard, one of several questions that was asked last night.
Democratic Party needs to take off the gloves. They need to get in the ring, and they need to decide that they're going to fight the bully.
Heard, message received, taking it back to Washington. Absolutely.
So a lot of the specifics, Nicole, that were brought up last night were things like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. People concerned that they might lose those benefits. We heard people talk about family members that work either for or work in contracts with the federal government, wondering whether those things might also be in jeopardy and their livelihoods. You also heard a couple of people bring up the rule of law and bring up Abrego Garcia's case specifically, which frankly was a bit of a surprise that was brought up locally. People were concerned that the president may not be following Supreme Court orders. So all of that on the table last night. I want to bring one specific one, another one to our attention. Bridget Lassett, the woman we talked to, who's got a 20-year-old son with a debilitating condition. She says it mimics ALS. And she is worried because there are funding grants that are going to Harvard University and the NIH. She says there's a phase 2 trial right now that may help her son, but she worries that that funding could dry up. Obviously, a reason that she wanted to talk to her member of Congress. Take a listen to some of our conversation.
Do you think they understand the gravity of what folks like you are having to go through?
I believe they do. I believe that they understand it. I don't know why there's a breakdown, but if you listen to the last question, there was a gentleman that brought up the issue of not getting information flow. That is precisely what I see. It's a lack of a coordinated effort. I mean, I can show up every weekend at a rally, but that doesn't give me the roadmap.
That doesn't give me the roadmap, she said. And that's, again, what a lot of people felt. Like they just were unclear about what their elected representatives, Democratic voters we're talking about, are doing for them. What is the roadmap? So, again, surprising. A lot of people, as we mentioned before, said they were happy with Congresswoman Scholten's performance, but, you know, unhappy with the direction. And just a reminder that next week we are going to be traveling to a Republican district to hear, I imagine, what will be a very different perspective from some of those voters than what we heard just last night. Nicole.
Listening to voters on both sides of the aisle. All right, Joe Khalil live there in Michigan. Thank you. Coming up, new today, thousands